So one thing I see, and that's always very eye-opening, is people don't realize how bad things are in their country until they realize how so many other countries out there have it much better than they do. And I'm going to give you one such example with Germany and how they have something called tenants' rights, and how, maybe it's something that other countries should look to copy, but probably won't happen. Essentially, Germany has rules and regulations for tenants and landlords, which make this whole thing, for lack of a better term, a lot more fair. And I'm going to give you a few examples of those things to give you an idea of what kind of rules they have in place that we could have had in place, but most people probably didn't think about the fact that, hey, maybe this can actually be regulated somehow. Like, I shit you not, when you hear a lot of these things, I'm pretty sure most of you will think, I can't believe that's something that we could have done this entire time, but just for some reason chose not to. So one of the regulations that they have is in regards to rent and rent increase. And by law, a landlord cannot increase your rent in the first 12 months of you living in the property. So the first 12 months of your rent is going to be exactly what was agreed in the agreement. But also, if they do want to increase your rent, they can only increase it by a maximum of 15%. It can only be done once every 3-year period. And if for any reason, if the tenant decides, hey, this rent increase isn't fair, they can choose not to pay it and just carry on paying the agreed amount that was in the tenancy agreement and just say no to the higher rate if they want to for any reason. And the landlord also needs to give a justification as to why the rent was increased. So they could say, hey, I'm increasing your rent. I can only increase it by 15% of what you're already paying. Here's why I think it should be increased, because you have to give a reason. And you can just say no. Germany also has got eviction protection for its tenants as well. So if you're living in a property and the landlord wants to evict you, they need to give you at least 3 months notice before evicting you from the property. And if you've been living in the property for a long time, that notice period can go up to either 6 months or 9 months. So there's no fear of sudden evictions from the property that you've been renting from. Now, this next one is my absolute favorite one. I think we really should be thinking about maybe making this one a global thing. If your property has any sort of problem with it, what the tenant can do is, if they've made the landlord aware of the problem and asked them to fix it, you can then just pay less rent until the problem has been resolved. And if the issue is like a serious one of the property, you can just choose not to pay rent until the property has been repaired. So that is something that you can do legally by just saying, hey, if it's not, in suitable living standards, I can just not pay rent until it's fixed. Even have tenants protection associations as well to help people make sure that the tenancy agreements that they agree to with the landlord are indeed fair and not exploitative in any way at all, which is definitely something that is fantastic, and I think we really definitely need, because it's very easy for landlords to exploit people by making them agree to terms that are very much stacked against them. But because people are usually in desperate conditions that just need housing straight away, they might not properly read those terms and conditions and might be stuck. Next time some random politician knocks on your door and asks you to consider voting for them and their policies, maybe consider, peer pressuring them into including some of those things to consider as laws that you might want passed to help, protect you and, your living space, basically. I'm pretty sure if enough of us peer pressure them into doing it, we can probably bully them into passing something.